Hello, welcome to my 1 year anniversary AMA video. Yay! It's a little bit weird just talking into the microphone. Usually I have a script in front of me and I am trying to get in character, but it's just me. So this will be a little bit of a new experience, just yapping away into a microphone without my Twitch chat here to also respond and, have a conversation. So we'll see how this goes. This is like my 5th take for today. Well, 2nd take, but 5 if you count the ones from super early in the morning when I was staying up late, because it's like afternoon time here right now, and I usually record late at night, but I was falling asleep and I realized I was like cutting myself off and micro sleeping in front of the microphone. It was actually kind of funny. So yeah, we are back. It is daylight out. I am a lot more cognizant. And so you might hear some noises that are in and around my neighborhood, like dogs barking and cars starting. Usually that's not in any of my audios because I record so late at night. But yeah, please forgive me if there just aren't any sounds that I can remove when I'm editing this up later. My voice is also slightly more gravelly than usual. I did go to TwitchCon over the weekend. I had meant to record this earlier, but I just got really busy trying to prepare for TwitchCon that it was impossible for me to record before I left. So now I'm speaking to you post-con with my voice super shot because all I did all weekend was talk to a whole bunch of people. I want to, first of all, thank my Patreon subscribers. I know that as a Patreon creator, I don't offer as much exclusive content as others. I offer early access to my YouTube videos, and if an audio needs to be cut for some reason because, there's too many kissing noises or the audio is slightly more suggestive than usual, I will put the full version on Patreon, but that's been kind of few and far between. So I do know that people who subscribe to my Patreon, I really thank you for that, because it means that you believe in me and you want to invest in me as a creator. All of that money I put aside specifically for ASMR content creation. I am not using that money for anything, personal or Twitch related. That is going right back into my ASMR videos. So thank you for that. I want to thank AJ. I want to thank Terry Lou. I want to thank Colby Walmsley, Jake C., that one other Jake, thank you. And thank you to Hector Quintana. Thank you to my YouTube subscribers. If you found my videos through the ASMR Scripthaven subreddit, or you found your way somehow to my channel or one of my videos, thank you so much for liking my audios, commenting on them. It just really helps. When, I guess, YouTube sees engagement on a video, it decides, hey, this video seems to be interesting. Let's push it out to more people. And the more eyeballs that can see my thumbnail, the higher chance that it gets clicked. So honestly, I appreciate any and all engagement that I get on the videos. If you're here from Twitch and you are one of my Twitch followers or subscribers, thank you. I know I don't talk about the ASMR side of my content creation a lot when I'm live streaming, but I know there are a few of you out there who listen to my ASMR audios as well. So thank you so much for all of your love and support. This channel would not exist if it weren't for all of you, patrons, YouTube subscribers, and Twitch followers and subscribers. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't know how else to express the gratitude that I feel. Also, I'm sorry if I get like kind of emotional and say a lot. I know that it's a bad vocal tick of mine when I am yapping. So in scripts it's easier to control, but when it's just free flowing, it's really hard for me to prevent doing these like little vocal fillers. So I will be mindful, but I may end up having to cut out a whole bunch. Who knows? The AMA video is going to be the questions that were submitted through Telenym. I tried to group them in an order that made some sort of sense. There were some duplicates. I'll read all of the questions, and you might see the questions on the screen if you're watching like this video on YouTube. So yeah, it'll be ASMR related questions first, followed by generic streamer, VTuber content creation questions. Third is going to be all of the personal, like me related questions as a human being, I guess, like a lot of questions about like, what's your favorite animal or your favorite color, you know? And lastly, a free for all. I didn't know what to categorize the last section. I just got a whole bunch of like random icebreaker questions that I didn't know how to organize. So they're in the video too. Thank you to everyone who submitted a question to Telenym. They were 100% anonymous. I don't know who sent anything in. So thank you. I wish I could thank you in person, but I knew that with this AMA, I didn't want to put anyone on the spot with the questions you were asking. So, all right, let's start. Let's get into it. I did record some of this last night, so if the answers seem rehearsed or anything, I promise I didn't write any of this down. It's just going to be free-for-all yapping again. All right, so which audio do you think is underrated in your channel? And also, when is part 2 of Mind Flayer? Okay, so I had to go take a look, but I personally feel like I do like doing the yandere audios. They are fun. It is fun to act a little bit crazy sometimes. But I think some of the other audios that I do that are a little bit more on the experimental side don't get as much attention, and I work hard on all my audios. It's maybe just the theming that people just they don't want to listen to, but I really like the combat doll series that I did. I say series, but it's really just 2 videos. The scripts were written by user Logosomancer on the ASMR Script Haven subreddit. It's where I found the scripts. And it's about a decommissioned combat doll that's been assigned to a new commander. And the goal, I guess, is to reintegrate this doll into society where she doesn't have to fight anymore. I don't want to spoil too much about the script. I do think that the little surprise at the end is a little bit of a twist and it kind of comes out of nowhere, but I just really like my acting in that one. I find it hard to I find it hard to speak in a monotone voice. I think by nature have a voice that likes to travel up and down when I'm talking. I think I get it from my years as an English teacher in a foreign country. It made it a little bit easier for my students to catch the words that I was saying, right? If I inflected them in a certain way or if I paused in between, So I learned how to speak a little slower, and I learned how to be a little bit more dynamic with my speaking. And I think that has lent itself well to speaking in an engaging way, right? But speaking like that as a robot character is not the jam, not the vibe. So having to switch to speaking in a sort of like even monotone voice where I don't know, I feel like I'm still moving my voice up and down a lot, but just being able to do it in like a kind of almost emotionless way, I think I nailed it. I think I nailed the voice. I don't know. I'll link the videos. Any videos that I mention in today's AMA, I'll probably put it in the description so you guys can and check them out if you guys want. But yeah, I think I nailed the voice. I think that the character that Logosomancer wrote is very compelling. She is a very, I don't know if pitiable is the right word, but I really felt for her when I was reading through the script and recording it. She's like the kind of character that you just want to hug and comfort because they've just seen so many things in life. She's that kind of character. And honestly, when I initially recorded the first script, there was no second script. And it was really sad to let go of a character that I liked so much. Whenever I record these things and I have like this emotional attachment to a character, it's always sad to like say goodbye, right? And when the author reached out to me about a second script, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that you're writing another continuation script of this character. I'm so happy. So I'm happy that I got to record a second time as the same character in, a little bit of a different scenario. She's honestly one of my favorites. So yeah, I think that would be my most underrated video / audio. And part 2 of Mind Flayer. Somehow the Mind Flayer audio is like the most popular audio on this channel. It is absolutely insane. I think it's like hit 150k at this point. It's crazy. You guys like Mind Flayer so much. I don't understand. I don't remember recording that audio. It was probably done super late at night in some kind of like fever dream, because I'm pretty sure I recorded that, edited the sound effects in, and threw it up onto YouTube like the night before, scheduled to release the next day or whatever. It's a different script than usual. I don't particularly think that I'm very good at the mommy dommy voice. I think my voice is a little bit too high, a little bit too soft for it, but I don't know. Maybe you guys disagree because you guys enjoy that audio so much. I'm not sure. The audio, I think, rides the line a little bit too much for me between like NSFW territory. So I am very proud of that audio. I was able to portray a different type of character than I usually do, but I don't know if it's something that I could get back into the mindset of doing. So I don't know. If I see another Mind Flayer script, I'll be sure to check it out, read through it, and see if it's something I can record. But for now, I haven't seen anything like that come across my feed, so we continue to record other audios in the meantime. How do you get ready for an ASMR script? So before I record, I try to drink a lot of water leading up to the recording. So I have like a 1 liter bottle of water that I keep with me. I try to drink at least 2 before the day is over, because I record late at night. So usually by that time, I'm like fully hydrated. I, put some chapstick on because I try to eliminate as much like mouth smacking noises as possible. I know I put out a poll one time and people were like, oh no, don't remove those. I guess people think that they enhance the audio, which makes sense because it is, you guys want to hear a human talking, I assume, and hearing the breathing and some of the mouth noises makes it seem more human. But sometimes it just gets to be a little bit too much. So I do try, if it's distracting, I do try to cut it out. I also put a booth over my head. I made myself a little vocal booth, I guess you could say. I built it out of PVC pipes and like little connectors. And then I have a whole bunch of fabric, like leftover fabric from previous cosplays, and friends have just, gotten rid of their fabric sashes. And so I sewed some panels together to go over the PVC frame. So basically, this little booth goes over my head, over the microphone, and it sits on my table because I have no space for an actual vocal booth. This just sits over my head, and the flap, goes down behind my head as well. So I'm enclosed on all 5 sides. And then I hit record. I have my script on my phone because it's dark under this booth. And I can't see my computer screen. So once I hit record, the flap that is in front of my computer screen, that gets pulled down as well. So I can't see anything. I just assume that the program is recording everything that I say. And there has been just one occasion, actually, in the past year that I went to stop the recording and found that nothing I had said was actually recorded in like the past 10-15 minutes. So that was fun. But yeah, and then I think, did I mention I have like a little clicker too? It clicks when I make a mistake so that I can see the little waveform and I can quickly identify where some of those mistakes are and get those cut out. But yeah, it's kind of how I get ready. What's the balance, would you say, between scripts you genuinely enjoy and scripts you feel would do really well? I do like to do the yandere scripts. So the yandere scripts are the ones that do really, really well. I do enjoy them. I also enjoy, some of the other scripts that I've had a chance to record. I've enjoyed all the scripts that I've recorded, actually. There's nothing that I've recorded and put out that when I was reading the script at the time, I wasn't, 100% happy with. I do wish that some of the other types of audios, like the comfort audios or the sleep aid audios, got more attention because I work on my audios fairly hard. I put a lot of hard work into all of my audios, not just the really popular ones, but I do know that the yandere ones are the ones that will get popular. So I like to sprinkle them in between. I enjoy all of the scripts I perform, though, genuinely. I will, if I see that I've released too many, self-indulgent, like comfort GFE audios in a row, I'll try to put like a yandere one in there. And then if I see that I'm doing too many yandere audios, I will actually go and look specifically for a script that isn't so yandere that I can record and put up. So I think it goes both ways. I like an even mix of everything. How far in advance do you usually choose or plan out scripts that you adapt from other writers? When I first started, I had kind of like a private Discord server for myself. And in this server, I had like a a channel for scripts specifically. I would like throw the link in. I have since changed my methods because just throwing scripts into a Discord channel is a little bit unorganized. I have since made like a spreadsheet. The base of the spreadsheet was provided by a fellow member in the, I think, Script Guild Discord server. She provided a VAQ spreadsheet basically that had like name of the script, tags, author, status, right? Like recording or audio editing or video editing or whatever. And so I use that now, and I'm constantly checking the ASMR Script Haven subreddit. I don't do any improv. Like I can't write. I'm not a good writer, and I'm not good at improving. So I will consistently check the ASMR Script Haven subreddit for scripts that I think would be fun to perform. And when I find something like that, I throw that into the spreadsheet to keep for next time. And sometimes I will go specifically looking for a particular script. Like maybe I feel like, oh, I kind of want to do a more comforting kind of like maybe GFE type audio, or maybe I'll feel a little bit sensitive and sad that day, and I'll be like, oh, you know what? I kind of want to do like a reverse comfort audio. So that's when I use the tags on that spreadsheet to kind of go through and quickly pick out a few scripts that I might want to record that night. I've had scripts sitting there as short as one day to scripts that I've saved since last year, actually, that I haven't performed yet. I think a lot of the ones that I don't perform for long periods of time are some of the more ambitious scripts that I don't think I can do justice, whether it's my acting or my editing, like audio editing skills. I don't think I have the tools yet at my disposal to make an audio that might work for that script. So yeah, I mean, sometimes really quickly, because the audio and the script might be very bare bones with minimum sound effects, or a very long time. For series, I do have also a few series that I've saved, but for the series audios, I want to make sure that I record all of them so that the tone between one audio to the next is even. And so that's why I've really only done one series, because doing that all at once, even spread over, 2 to 3 days, is quite difficult for me still. And having to do that all in advance to prep for the release of a series over like a month, I think is really, really tiring. So, yeah. Your voice is so good. Have you worked on anything official? Thank you for that. I haven't actually done anything official, or I'm not part of the voice acting industry. I think after this experience, I've become a little bit more serious about looking into opportunities for voice acting, for voiceover. I am still a little shy. I tell myself a lot of the time that, oh, it isn't really voice acting. I just, speak into my microphone. I don't know how to act. I just read the words on the page. And I think I do that almost as like a self-defense mechanism. Like if I tell people I'm not serious about it, then people can't make fun of me and say like, oh, well, you suck. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm just doing this for fun, So in a way, I do think it is some kind of like self-defense mechanism, so I don't make myself feel bad if someone thinks that I'm like bad at it or something, or I get like rejected. But I do really, really want to look into seriously pursuing professional voiceover jobs. But thank you. I did not think that my voice would be that pleasing. I still don't think it is, but if you say so, I'll believe you. First of all, you are the only ASMR channel I watch regularly. Thank you for giving us such comfy vibes on a regular basis. You are very sweet. Thank you. Thank you so much for your support. I don't know if you are one of the people who like and comment on my video, but thank you so much. Secondly, what is your favorite thing about creating ASMR? I really enjoy providing a sense of comfort to people. I think it's crazy that something that I record, just, speaking into the microphone, within hours, sometimes when I'm procrastinating, to, like a couple of weeks, to maybe even years later, because, maybe I've been doing this for 5 years. My voice is coming out of someone's headphones and they're listening to me perform and act for the very first time that script. I think something about that very human connection is so special. And I mean, it's not lost on me how intimate sometimes these audios are. It's just my voice, right? Going directly into someone's ears. And it's why I try a little bit to separate my ASMR videos from what I do for live streaming on Twitch. I don't really talk about my ASMR videos and the contents of my ASMR videos on my Twitch live streams. And it's honestly because it's a little bit embarrassing. It's it's a different side of me that I think is a little bit more vulnerable, and I try not to be so vulnerable on stream. I just want to know that at the end of the day, I can be of help to someone. I think that's why I like doing ASMR so much, is I know that there are a variety of reasons that people will listen to ASMR audios, and some of it may be to, feel some kind of social connection, maybe because that person can't leave their home or has social anxiety but still wants to have some type of human connection with others. Could be a variety of reasons, right? But at the end of the day, it is helping someone out there. I hope that my audios are a sense of comfort and a place of safety. I think that would make me the happiest as a content creator, to know that I've been able to provide that to others. What made you want to start making ASMR videos? I don't know how many people are on like the VTuber side of Twitter, but back in October of 2022, there was this VTuber script challenge that was kind of going around on the Twitter timeline. I know it used to be Twitter back then. It's X now. I still don't say X. I say Twitter, so apologies. But there was kind of a script challenge going around, and some of the scripts on Twitter that are available for people to read are generally on the shorter side. They're like maybe 2 minutes. It's the maximum upload size for Twitter videos. It's like 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So the scripts are a little bit shorter, and I think that's kind of where I got my start. I really wanted to try back in October of 2022, but I wasn't brave enough. It wasn't until maybe June or July of 2023 was when I started recording ASMR videos. And in October of last year is when I decided, okay, I'm recording too many of these ASMR videos to upload to my regular YouTube channel. It was getting mixed in with my music stuff and mixed in with my Twitch VODs. And so I told myself, okay, I'm just going to make an ASMR only channel because I feel like I am nerfing myself. When people go to look at my profile, it's too many things, right? So I wanted to make something specifically for an audience that was seeking ASMR videos specifically. And so that was kind of the start. If we want to go back even further, I've always really loved reading out loud. Maybe it just comes from having to do that so often as a child. I used to do it a lot for my brother and sister. My household was kind of like ESL, English as a second language. I grew up in kind of like a Vietnamese household, and my parents didn't really speak English that well, and I am the eldest daughter of 3. And so when I started learning English and bringing that home, my parents wanted me as much as possible to read to my brother and sister. And I don't know, I like volunteering at the library and reading for kids out loud, so I think it was a very natural... Oh, there goes my neighbors. I think it was a very natural progression to finding myself wanting to record and release ASMR videos. What is it about making audios that you like to make them? I get why people listen, because of course, but never really saw what's in it for content creators. I think... So all of the things that I've said before, knowing that I am providing a space of comfort and an environment of safety for others to, enjoy my audios, but also being able to embody different characters. When I read a script, I do try to put myself in the character's shoes and try to think of how this character would act and how they would say certain things, reacting to different situations based on maybe some of the listener responses that the writer has put into the script. And I think for me, that is really fun to the point where sometimes I'll create these little stories about the characters in my head as the script goes on, like as I'm recording, and it feels a little bit sad when I finish the script, like I'm letting go of a character that I really enjoyed embodying and connecting with. I mean, it definitely happened for the Combat Doll series, so I'm just, saying, being able to become a different person, if only just for a little bit, I think is another reason why I really enjoy making these videos. I really enjoyed your alien researcher video. I want to ask, could we have more of that? I'm really surprised, actually. That audio was from the Scriptober challenge that the ASMR Script Guild was holding. And I just thought it was like a really cute script. How the alien researcher was really excited about learning of a new species on Earth. I didn't realize how popular that one would be. It is one of the more popular videos that, consistently still gets hits today. I think at its peak, it was getting anywhere from, I don't know, like 100 to 500 views a day. It's died down. I think it gets something like 30 to 40 views or something, but I think it's still pretty incredible that a video I made almost a whole year ago is still quite popular. I didn't realize how popular like science fiction was. I do want to find another kind of alien speaker video. I have been looking, but there haven't been any scripts that have really caught my eye. I've bookmarked a few in my queue list, but some of the tags and the contents aren't something that I feel like recording when I get in front of my computer. So I don't know. I will continue to look, and should inspiration strike one day, maybe you guys will hear another alien speaker audio. I know as a musician to redo a recording if I make a mistake, but when you do your ASMR audios, what would make you redo a take? I don't know how much my recording process differs from other VAs in this space, but I typically have a clicker in my hand when I'm recording. If I say a word wrong, or if I think I phrased a sentence in a weird way, I would, click the clicker, and I'm gonna try to click it now and see if I can capture the noise for you guys. Basically, I just click into the microphone, and then when I look at it, I can easily cut it out. But yeah, it's usually when I'm tripping up over my words, or I think I said something or phrased something in an awkward way, then I'll go back and redo it right then and there. I typically don't ever go back and re-record a portion after I've done the whole script. Maybe if I'm listening back and something seems slightly awkward, I wouldn't re-record, just because putting the vocal booth over my head is a little bit cumbersome. And once I'm in the editing stage, that vocal booth is no longer over my head. I've actually set it back down in its corner. So yeah, I don't know. I just a little bit lazy, I guess. Maybe I should try to be a little less lazy. What's your favorite video you've made so far, and why? Ooh, hold on. I have to look up the name of this video. It has to do with Greek mythology. Let me see here. The title of the audio is Girlfriend Rambles About the Golden Apple. So in this audio, it is basically the speaker character getting really, really excited about retelling the story of the Golden Apple of Discord, where the goddess of discord shows up to a wedding and throws the golden apple to the ground. And basically, Athena and Hera and Aphrodite all want that golden apple, because right before she throws it, or I guess during or after, she says to the fairest, right? And Zeus takes that apple and gives it to, I believe, Paris, who the three goddesses basically tell him, give the apple to me and I can give you this, that, and such. And he gives the golden apple. He ends up giving it to Aphrodite because she promises him the most beautiful woman in the world, I guess. And thus starts the war, the Trojan War. I'm just a huge Greek mythology buff, and I really, really enjoy Greek mythology. Actually, when I was in Japan for a while, I was living in Japan. I don't know if you guys know, but there was this Quiz Up app that people used to play on their phone. I don't know if it's still a thing, but at one point in time, I was the #1 ranked player in the Greek mythology category in Japan. So, but yeah, so I really like that video quite a bit. So if you haven't, maybe check it out. I don't know. All right, I think this is the last question for the ASMR portion, and it is just 2 emojis, a squid emoji, I think, and a green heart emoji. So thank you to whoever sent this question in. I'm pretty sure this is in reference to my Mind Flayer audio. All right, so that concludes the portion for ASMR specific questions. So I'm going to move on now to general content creation and possibly some VTubing questions. All right, so this first question is, who is your VTuber Oshi? For those of you who may not be familiar with this concept of an Oshi, it's really kind of like in the VTuber and like Japanese idol space. An Oshi is someone you want to see succeed. You know, you watch them, you support them, and like it comes from the word osu, or like to push. And it's basically like you're always pushing this person onto like new people that you meet, and you're like, yeah, go listen to their music and watch them and, you know, support them because I think they're like a really awesome, you know, either singer or dancer or content creator. So that's, for those of you who don't know, that's kind of what Oshi means. For me, my VTuber Oshi would be Hololive EN's Mori Calliope. I think it was early 2022 when I saw her playing Jump King on stream. And I think if I never saw her playing Jump King, I don't think I ever would have become a VTuber. She basically inspired me to start my own content creation journey on Twitch, which I think led to my journey of recording and releasing ASMR videos. So really, without that initial exposure to the VTubing world, Princess Rosca as a content creator would not exist today. And I mean, in general, she is just an incredible singer. She's so talented. She's also bilingual, and she just works so hard, and she definitely deserves all the success that she's seen so far. I truly believe it. Why choose VTube over Flesh? I don't like the way that you worded that. Why can't you just say like face camming or something? I don't know. I just don't feel like dressing up and, you know, dressing up a set behind me. I'm like a really messy person too. Like I will pick something up and put it down exactly where I am. Like I don't go and put my stuff away. So having to keep like a neat and tidy room, especially if I was like a face cammer, would be so difficult for me. I mean, it would encourage me, I guess, to keep my space a little bit more tidy, but the added stress of having to look presentable is a big factor. Being a VTuber, in my opinion, is just a little bit easier. I can, you know, get home from working in the office and not have to worry about how I look, how I'm dressed, and I can still hop on stream and be presentable. Whereas if I was a face cammer, I feel like I would worry more about, you know, my physical appearance, and some of my attention might be split by, you know, oh, how do I currently look in this moment? And oh, maybe I shouldn't make a certain facial expression because it twists my face up all weird. I don't know. I think I make some really weird expressions when I'm streaming and when I'm talking. So, and also I like to eat on stream sometimes, which like my viewers don't really mind, but eating in front of a camera is slightly different when your face is being transmitted to people's screens at home. So I get to hide behind a virtual avatar instead. Are you a full-time creator or do you have a day job? If the latter, what do you do? Vaguely, nothing like company name or location. So I am not a full-time content creator. I don't get that much money from Twitch or YouTube to even consider going full-time. I think I make like something like, I don't know, $200 a month from both. Like, full transparency, I don't make that much money off of YouTube, Patreon, and Twitch. it amounts to maybe enough for like a little bit of hamburger money. And it's money that I've been putting away because, purchasing art assets for YouTube thumbnails and technology hardware for streaming is quite expensive. My computer, I think some components are due for a new replacement. And I play violin for content as well, and violin strings need to be switched out yearly depending on how often they're played on. And my strings are way overdue for a replacement. And I just, all of that together is expensive. And so I use all of the money that I get from content creation, and that feeds back into improving the production level of the content that I put out. $200 every month amounts to something like $2,400 a year. Definitely not enough for even like 1 month of rent where I live. So I live in a place that's quite expensive. I do have a roommate, so she, I don't have to pay all of the rent that's here, but it's still quite pricey either way. Okay. And then my job. So I work full time at a company, and I basically work as kind of like the product owner of our business application. So I work really closely with the IT department at my work. I talk to our IT team and the developers often to convey to them what our end business users don't like about the business application, like the problems that they're having, and even ways that we can potentially improve the business application for the end user experience. So I just yap a lot in my day job, actually. It's just a lot of talking to a lot of different people. I quite enjoy it. It allows me to think creatively in terms of possible solutions. And I don't know, I just get to use my brain at work. And then when I get home, I turn my brain off. It's a nice kind of like clean cut between work and private life. Where did you get the name Princess Rosca from? I love getting to tell the story. So Princess Rosca is actually a name that I've used since 10 years ago. So 10 years ago, when my friends and I just started hanging out, we would play like a whole bunch of different MMOs together. So I think one of the bigger ones that we played together was like Aeon Online. And it was one of the years when we had decided to switch over, and we were considering Final Fantasy XIV. During the character creation process, you had to create 2 names, like a first and a last name for your character. And I think someone in my friend group had suggested, why don't we all share the same last name, because we are all friends, we're starting this game for the first time together. And mind you, this was my group of friends that I had met and become friends with like a really, really long time ago. And when I was in college, we would go get donuts together like every Thursday night. It was like tradition. We would go and get our donuts together every Thursday or Friday or whatever we had off. And we became known as the Donut Knights, or like the Knights of the Round Table. I know it's a little bit like cheesy and corny, but that's kind of what we did. So when we went to go make our character names, we were like, what if we were the, also Donut Knights in game? Like, what last name would bring to mind a donut? And so my friend had looked up donut, I think, in different languages. I believe the word rosca is actually like a Spanish ringed bread. And if you look it up, it's like this bread that's baked for like celebrations, I believe. They will typically bake it with like a bean somewhere in the batter or like a ceramic baby. And whoever gets the slice with the little bean or the ceramic baby is like the winner or something. So that was our last name, Roska, and Princess, just because I thought it was like a cute first name. Technically my name Princess Roska, I'm not like, my name isn't Roska. My first name is Princess. Last name is Roska because of the reason that I just told you. And most of my friends call me Princess. I promise it's not like some weird thing. It's just like, oh, that's my name now. You get yelled enough times being called Princess because I raid with my group of friends and they're always like, Princess! They say it in like a really loud and like angry voice, and like all the sweetness and all the like, ooh, like good feelings that come from being called Princess, like are totally just aren't there for me. So yeah, I mean, if you look me up on the Lodestone, the Final Fantasy XIV Lodestone, I'm pretty sure you'll find my character. I am like the only Princess Roska out there. So it actually came from my Final Fantasy XIV character, and I've just come to, I don't know, really like associate myself with that name. So when I decided to become a streamer and a content creator, I just had a name that I could use, and I used that name, and that's where Princess Roska comes from. If you could go back in time to the point where you started creating content, ASMRs, streaming for the very first time, what would you tell yourself? This one is a hard one. I did think about this a little bit because when I was receiving questions into my telenym, I thought that this was a really good question to ask. Maybe for others. It's difficult for me because personally, I've never really gone into content creation with the thought that I could make this a full-time career. I think it takes a large amount of work and also a lot of luck to make it in the content creation space. So this has never been more than kind of like a, oh, you know, hee hee, I'm just doing it for fun. I think what I would say is that I would tell myself not to focus so much on the numbers, because there was a point in time when I was first starting out, even if I, told myself, oh, I'm not taking it too seriously, I was getting upset over numbers between myself and, someone that I saw as a friend who was doing something way different than me, right? Who was getting way more viewers and, got a little bit jealous, and I got a little bit down on myself because I couldn't understand, what was different about her that made her a more popular creator than me. And honestly, I think it just boils down to personality and charisma and consistency, because I had just started out, and, the longer you stream, the more chances you have of getting more eyeballs on your work, and the more chances you have of grabbing at, different viewers. So I, had a friend tell me like, hey, if you're just doing this for fun, stop stressing about it. And I think I've really tried to take that to heart. Like, I am currently don't see a way to make this something that I can do full time. So at the moment, streaming on Twitch and creating ASMR audios really is just for fun. Even if it makes some income, at the end of the day, it is just for fun. And that money is hamburger money, that I can use instead of using money from my full-time job to put into content creation. And I think it's just kind of paid for itself over time. The other thing that I think I would say is, and I'm still working on this today, and it has to do with my self-image and my self-worth. I've gone through a couple of really hard things in the past year, and I would say that I still suffer now from a really low self-image. Or I guess like I feel like I don't have a lot of self-worth. I am constantly asking myself why others see me as a friend. Like, it's hard for me to see what makes me a good friend or like a unique person or a streamer that makes others want to come and hang out, right? Like, personally, I think I'm quite a boring person. I don't think that there's anything special about me. I'm pretty sure that's not true because in my 2+ years and like just in general life of being alive, I've always found something special about the people around me. So I do think that negative thought process is, really unhealthy. And I am trying to work on seeing the good in myself and being a little bit more forgiving when it comes to things about me. Because like, I would never tell a friend, who's in the same position as me, the things that I tell myself. I don't know. Do you guys feel this way? I can't be like the only person in the world, right, that feels this way. I can't be the only person that feels so alone and so isolated. But yeah, I feel like we got super off topic. Don't care about the numbers and be more concerned about the quality of the content that you're putting out, and try not to be so worried about meeting a certain quota every day or every week or every month as a creator. Well, I think while that may help if you are, really, really trying to heavily market yourself, I think people who are just starting out also have to be kind of realistic about the atmosphere that they're entering into, right? Right at the moment, there's just so many streamers out there, and there are so many popular streamers who are always streaming like super popular games. So if you ever want to like make it or like stand out, you're gonna have to be a little bit more niche with the things that you do, and you have to build a community that is strong and supportive around that. And that takes time. I don't think that happens overnight unless, somehow you manage to have lightning in a bottle or something. But for many people, I don't think that is a reality. So yeah, if you are an aspiring content creator out there, all I can say is don't give up. There is only one you in the entire world, and I know that you have a unique perspective to share and a unique voice to share with the world. You just have to really, really examine and reflect on what makes you unique and what you can put out into the world, and something that it may be something that only you can do, right? Really dig into that and highlight the best parts of yourself. And I think you could go really far. Do you want to / plan to make a video of you just playing your instruments? I do have some videos of me out there playing kalimba or like crafting or baking, and I have like my hands out there on the internet. Most of them are going to be on my Twitch VOD YouTube channel. So it's like the regular Princess Roska YouTube channel. So if you guys ever want to see that stuff, check me out over there. But yeah, I do have like a video, all of my videos, I don't include my face, but I do have, I think, a couple videos of me playing the kalimba, and I do have videos of my VTuber model playing a few violin pieces. I don't think I would ever record myself playing violin just because that instrument is so close to my head and my face. And I don't want to do a face review. I want to be sort of like a faceless creator. So yeah. If you are interested, please follow my regular at Princess Rosca channel on YouTube. Okay, so that is the end of the VTubing and generic or general content creation questions. We are going to move into the personal questions now. Haha, I tricked you. I knew that this would be the section that most people would want to listen to, so I purposefully put it near the back. Sorry if you feel tricked. Maybe you just skipped forward to this section. All right, so the first question is, do you have siblings? And yes, I know I talked about it in a previous question, but yes, I do have siblings. I am the eldest of 3 children. It is me, followed by my sister, who is 1 year younger, followed by my brother, who is 2 years younger than me. So really, my parents just had the 3 of us consecutively. I like to joke that my parents tried until they had a son, and then they were like, all right, we're done. Growing up, I feel like with 3, I want to say like it was really hard growing up. I know I was like the eldest, but I was always like picked on by my younger brother and sister. I was a real softie, and I didn't know how to speak up for myself and, advocate for myself. And even nowadays, sometimes I still don't know how to do that. But yeah, I had a hard childhood growing up. We all get along well now, though, as adults. And my brother and sister are constantly, calling to check up on me, and we catch up often on how we're doing. But it was hard growing up. I used to be bullied quite hard by my siblings and my cousins. Okay, the next question is, what is your zodiac sign? So I think, honestly, this one is like the most boring one. I'm a Libra. So it means that I think everything that I do is quite balanced. It could also mean that I'm like an indecisive person because I'm always, weighing my choices on what I should do, what are like the pros and cons. And I do see that a lot when I am thinking through things. I do have a lot of things that I'm constantly thinking about, and it does result in me being a little bit more indecisive than my other friends who are like, yeah, that one, I choose A. And when I'm like, A or B, or what about C, I also recently learned that there's like actually 3 zodiac signs that are associated with your personality. I don't quite know what it means, but I did put everything into like a birth chart calculator once, and I am a Libra sun, a rising Aquarius. I don't know what any of this means, you guys, but if you guys do, or if you guys also want to share your own big 3 in the comment section below, feel free. I think it's quite fun to, even if I don't believe in it, even if I don't quite believe that it's true or it's real or it pertains to my personality, because a lot of the time these personality things can apply to everybody. So I don't really believe in this stuff, but it's always fun to kind of like read it and see like, ooh, was it close, or that's so not me, kind of. But yeah. All right, the next question is, what's your favorite holiday? Hands down, my favorite holiday is Christmas. Ever since I was a kid, my parents tried to make Christmas one of the holidays that, like, one of the biggest family holidays that we would celebrate. And that's because I think coming from Vietnam, my parents didn't really celebrate Christmas before. It was like truly like an American thing that they, I guess, kind of like latched onto, and in a way used it to really show how much they've integrated into like American and Western society. But we would always have really big Christmases as a kid. I do think though, like once I got older, I want to say like middle school or high school years, that emphasis started going away and Christmas became just another holiday in my family. But I think the magic of being a little kid and waking up on Christmas Day, I still want to believe in that feeling that the world is a better place, if only for just one morning. Because there's just, I don't know, even if there isn't gifts, there's still like excitement in the air, you know? Like that kind of energy is out there. What's your favorite season? So, my favorite season is fall. I kind of debated on whether it was spring or fall. Spring because, you know, the colors and the weather is warming up again and everything is just so beautiful in the springtime, but I honestly think I do prefer fall a little bit more. It's, you know, the coming of the cold season, everything starts to get like nice and comfy and cozy, and the smell of cinnamon and nutmeg in the air, and the holiday season that's like looming around the corner. I think all of that and the emotions that come with that are something that I really look forward to every year. So I would say fall. I can't wait to eat my first pumpkin pie of the season, so I'm sure I'll bake some soon. This question says, how old, with a heart emoji? Listen, you can never ask a lady how old she is. I will give you the same answer that I give to my Twitch viewers. I'm 80 years old, and that's for you to believe or not believe, but 80 years old, 80. What are your favorite / least favorite foods, fruits, and veggies? That's a lot of questions. That's actually 6 questions in one, if we were being technical about it. Favorite food, I would say anything Vietnamese. I love Vietnamese. I love eating Vietnamese food, like pho or like bún bò Huế, bánh xèo. It's all the foods that like bún thịt nướng, thịt kho, all of the foods that I like grew up eating, I really love to eat. Now that I'm like so far away from home and no one to cook for me except for myself. Like some of these recipes are so difficult and so time consuming that I barely get a chance to eat, you know, things that I want to anymore unless I like order out. Least favorite food. I don't think I really have a least favorite food. I really enjoy eating all foods. I would say, I guess if I were to pick a least favorite, it would probably be natto. I tried it when I lived in Japan, and I think every couple of years I'll like buy a thing of natto and like rice and try to eat it, because I'm a big proponent in never thinking that any food is gross, right? Like food is food. Everyone needs to eat food, and everyone out there finds some kind of food like, you know, palatable. And so every couple of years, even if it's something that I know that I dislike or that I think I dislike, I'll try it again. And, you know, I might be like, oh yeah, I really don't like it. Or maybe my taste buds have matured a little. I'm like, oh, you know, that actually tastes kind of good. So I think I'm overdue for another natto trial. I think right now that would be my least favorite. Favorite fruits. I really like, I'm going to be basic here, strawberries. Strawberries, and I actually really like durian. I know not a lot of people like that because of how, I guess, smelly it is. I don't think it's that smelly. I have eaten it since I was like young, and I really enjoy the taste of durian. I don't think it smells bad. For me, when I smell it, I'm like, oh yes, I know like exactly what I'm about to eat, and like I'm really looking forward to it, you know? I also really like lychee. So a lot of like the exotic, like Asian, Southeast Asian fruits. Mangoes as well. Least favorite fruit. I'm not a huge blueberry fan. Blueberries, and I think like the melons, so I've never had like a really, really good melon. They've always been really watery for me, like the green ones. Like they're always kind of watery, and the fragrance is not that strong either. And so for me, eating a melon doesn't seem satisfying, to be honest. Yeah, okay. Favorite vegetable. This is a hard one. I don't really think I have a favorite vegetable. Brussels sprouts. I love a good roasted Brussels sprout. Really, really good. Super yummy. Oh, and like sometimes like raw cabbage with like a little bit of sesame oil and salt. Least favorite vegetable would have to be carrots and bell peppers. Straight up, I don't like those two things. They are not yummy to me. Carrots are, I don't know, weirdly too crunchy and like too sweet, and bell peppers just have this weird taste. They're like crunchy but not crunchy. And they taste slightly sweet. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like them at all. So I guess that would be your 6 questions. What's your favorite color? I think it is abundantly clear if you look at my VTuber model, but my favorite color or colors is pink and yellow. It's kind of hard to pick between the two. I like both equally. I like the very pastel, light, girly pink, like almost like the cherry blossom, like soft pastel pink. And for yellow, I like a very light pastel yellow as well. Well, it's a very like soft color combination, I think. So pink and yellow. What's your favorite animal? 100% dogs. It has to be dogs. I love dogs so much. Dogs are so cute and dogs are so loyal. I actually, staring at my bookshelf right now, have 3 books that I keep close by that are dog related. And the first one is, or the first 2 actually, I got when I was sightseeing in New York with my friends. We had gone to the AKC Museum. I had like dragged my friends there because I really wanted to go. And I bought these 2 books, and they are What I Lick Before Your Face and Other Haikus by Dogs, written by Jamie Coleman, and The Little Book of Dogs. I don't know who the author of that one is, but I really like those 2 books. And I did get sent a book called Dog Songs by Mary Oliver from one of my Twitch viewers, and I've actually really enjoyed the poems in that book. If you guys know any other dog related books that you can recommend me, I would absolutely adore that. Yeah, they are my favorite animals in the whole entire world. They're just so loving and so deeply empathetic. And, you know, the emotional intelligence that dogs have with their human owners is honestly so touching to me. So yeah. Do you speak any languages besides English? Yes. So besides English, I speak Vietnamese, I speak Japanese, and I did learn like a little bit of French in high school, but that was like ages and ages and ages ago. So I don't know that I remember too much about French. I can say like Parlez-vous anglais? I had to ask that question several times when I was in France and running around trying to get to the Palace of Versailles. So, yeah, so those three, I guess. When is your birthday? So, my birthday is actually coming up. The exact date is October 9th. I generally don't do anything for my birthday. It's hard for me to ask others to celebrate me as a person. Again, tying to my image and, thoughts of self-worth and all of that. I find it very difficult to ask that of others. This year, I asked my best friend if we could just have like a little picnic in her backyard or like at the local park, do some egg salad sandwiches and, like small charcuterie things. Mainly because I can't really afford anything at the moment due to some unfortunate life circumstances. I'm in a financial situation that doesn't allow me to have as much, spending as usual. And so I've been kind of buckling in as many other people my age are experiencing, the bad economy and all. And I don't want to ask others to spend money with me. I just ask for people's time, honestly. I think that's all I want is quality time spent with my friends and my family. That is the best gift that I could get for my birthday. And if you like and subscribe because of my videos, you don't have to spend money on me. I just ask that you share my videos with others who might enjoy them. And, if you think that someone might be interested, introduce my audios to them. Yeah, that would make me happy. That would be like the best birthday present. This question asks, in a relationship, and I think there are a few others, are you looking to date someone right now? And single ? I think I'll stop there because the other one is like a little bit of a longer question related to relationships. I'm currently not in a relationship. No. I am super duper so single like a Pringle, but I'm not looking to date anyone either. I think right now, with how crazy my schedule is, just so you guys are aware, I work full-time 8 to 5 because capitalism has convinced everyone that we need that extra hour of work to push out the tiniest bit more profits for our companies. But 8 to 5 I'm working, and then after work I'm usually either streaming or spending some quality time with my IRL friends. And then late into the night is when I am recording audios for ASMR, and I spend most of the evening up until, I want to say, 3 or 4 in the morning editing audios and getting them ready for YouTube releases. So I want you to think about that schedule. That's like every day, okay? I want you to think about that schedule and try to find any time at all in that schedule where it would be possible for me to date someone. I honestly just don't have the time, and I don't feel like I need to date anyone. I know that some of my audios are, more on the romantic end, but personally, I think, and I mean, don't get me wrong, it is nice to like explore that more like romantic side of me. I just don't want to be like romantic with anyone at the moment, at least in person. I don't know, like in audios, it's fine. I think I get a lot of love and support from my friends. They are always telling me how much they love and appreciate me. And, you know, my friends will give me a hug if I want a hug. I mean, of course, it's nothing more intimate than that. But for me right now, where I am in life, that makes me happy. And that's all I want in life. I don't really like need anything else. I haven't really desired, any romantic relationships. So, yeah, I would say single, love the idea of love the idea of romance, but not looking for a relationship. The question that I didn't want to get into, but still regarding relationships, this one says, what is the biggest disadvantage of a relationship for you? Maybe it's because I haven't been in too many relationships in my life. Most of my relationships have only added to my quality of life, past relationships that I've had before. I would say that the biggest disadvantage of a relationship, the only one that I can think of right now, is having to compromise with another person. And I think that when you truly love someone and when you are in a relationship with someone, the compromise doesn't and shouldn't feel like a compromise. It should feel like a natural part of that relationship. So I think it might just be that I currently am very independent and am not looking for anything, which is why, having to compromise and having to readjust my schedule, like thinking of doing that for someone, like readjusting my schedule and like changing the way I do things because of someone else's needs and wants, just seems so not fun. And it might seem a little bit callous, but I guess, I don't know, it just not for me right now. And maybe when I'm in a relationship, it won't feel like it's work, but that's all I can think of. I mean, what do you guys think? Like, what is the biggest disadvantage of a relationship that you guys can think of? Maybe leave it in the comment section and I can get I can widen my perspective. Do you have any pets? Yes, I have a dog. I have a golden retriever. His name is Hermes, and he is absolutely light of my life, my happy boy. I adopted him during the pandemic. He was like, I got him through my brother's friend. They were giving up their dog because they had just had like a baby, their very first baby, and they had this dog that they couldn't take care of anymore because the baby was just taking up all of their time. And they were looking around for someone to adopt their dog. And so my brother jokingly had texted the sibling chat, was like, you guys want a dog? And I immediately told him, actually, yeah. So we made it happen. I actually didn't pay anything for my dog because the owners just really, really wanted him to go to a loving family. And my family was known for having like another golden retriever when my brother was like in high school. And all of his friends and my sister's friends and my friends knew about, our love for our previous golden. And so they knew that they could trust their dog with me to adopt him and to take good care of him. So they covered his last vet fee and his dental. And then I got him with all of his supplies. I didn't have to buy anything extra. They were so, so kind and made sure that I was set up with everything before I adopted him. So yeah, I love him so much. He is honestly the reason why I wake up every morning and can face the world. Which place in your city do you like the most? Is this a question meant to dox me? I will say that there are a lot of fun things to do in my area, within, like 100-mile radius. I am from Southern California, and the beaches are quite nice. We have really good like Mexican and Asian food in the area. Of course, there's like Disneyland and Universal Studios. So all of that is really, really fun. And people always want to do those things when they're in town. So, yeah, I don't know what I like the most about this area. Probably going to the beach, getting some sunshine, feeling the sand beneath my feet. And the best of all, it's free. It's free to go to the beach and just set a towel down and sunbathe for a little bit. Okay, this next question is, who would you like an apology from and what for? Okay, so an unserious one before we get to the serious one, I guess. The guy in my school on my field trip when I had gone to the aquarium, I would like an apology from him. I was playing my Pokemon Crystal file, and it was like on my Game Boy Advance, and I was playing Pokemon Crystal, and I had gotten up to the Elite Four. And he had gone up to me and asked me if he could play my Game Boy for a little bit. And I was talking to my friends on the bus trip to the aquarium, so I was like, yeah, sure. Just don't save over my file. And I don't know if you guys know, but back in the old days, I think Pokemon still only has one save file. I don't know. I'm so traumatized from this event that I really didn't play any other Pokemon since then, and have only recently gotten back into playing Pokemon. But I'm playing like Heart Gold, so it's still like the old version, I guess. But yeah, you only have one save file of Pokemon. So I told him, don't save over my file. And he borrowed my Game Boy Advance, gave it back to me when we got to the aquarium. And on the bus ride home, nobody wanted to talk anymore. So I took out my Game Boy and we were all chilling on the bus, on the way home. I load up my file, and what do I see but like his new character walking around in like the first or second city or whatever. And I'm like, dude, what the heck? I had gotten all the way up to the Elite Four and had like a whole bunch of Pokemon that were like breeding in the Pokemon Center, and I had a Suicune on that save file. How? What? And so to that boy, he never apologized. He never said sorry that he saved over my file. I would like an apology from you. I still know your full name, and that was ages and ages ago. On a more serious note, who would you like an apology from? My parents. I don't actually talk to them anymore. I don't have a good relationship, mainly with my mother. I think my parents pushed me way too hard when I was very young. They basically relied on me a lot to help my younger brother and sister. Even though I was only like 1 and 2 years older than my brother and sister, they relied on me a lot to look after my younger siblings. And it's also probably why they kind of like bullied me a little when I was younger, is because for them, I was just someone who was seen as like not like them. I was expected to do other things that weren't quite kid-like because I had to take care of them. So I do resent that a lot. Also, I had, when I applied to colleges, wanted to major in illustration or fashion design. I really wanted to pursue that as a career. I didn't. Obviously, by my job, I didn't do that. Otherwise, I might be in the fashion industry. Who knows? But my mother had found out that I wanted to apply under art, and she basically threatened to kick me out of the house. And I was like 17, way too scared, way too young to know what to do with myself and how to support myself outside of the house. And she told me that I had to change the major that I was applying to school for. Otherwise, I could just leave and live on my own. And so that scared me. And so I changed my major. And years later, I'm done with school. I'm coming back, visiting home. My mother goes, there was like some other family drama. And I was explaining to her, because it had to do with my sister, right? And my sister was like coming out because she was gay. And I explained to my mother, I'm like, look, I don't want you to push away my sister like how you pushed me away. If you don't support her as an adult who can make her own adult decisions, she knows that she can survive outside of the home. I didn't have that choice, right? But she knows she can just leave. So if you want your daughter to leave this house, then, sure, continue on the path that you're going now. And my mother goes, what are you talking about? And so I explained to her, all of that. And she goes, well, you're a smart girl and you could have figured it out. And I think hearing that from my mother, for me, is like a slap in the face. I think all I wanted from my mother and from my father was just like I'm sorry that sorry. I think I just wanted an apology from them, that they recognized and acknowledged how much pressure they put on me as a child, and that they acknowledged that I couldn't pursue what I wanted to, because I've always been like a really like artsy kid when I was little, that like I couldn't pursue what I wanted to because they had forced me to, basically change what I applied under. And I've never gotten that apology from them. And I realized that, maybe they just thought that they knew better as an adult who was raising their kid for the first time. But, I am now seeing, plenty of my cousins growing up with super supportive parents who support, art as a major or, literature. And I'm just like, I wish that I had that from my parents back when I was going to school. So sorry we got kind of like emotional. That was I still get really emotional talking about that, because I think to this day I just wish that my parents recognized, like, even if they didn't mean it, right, that like my parents recognized like the harm that they did to me, having to like grow up so quickly from a young age. This question isn't really a question, but it says, pretty sure you'd be an amazing friend. I like to think that I am. I like to think that I take care of my friends, and I try to do a lot for them. I don't know who I am without doing things for other people. I've just, like I mentioned, I've just been doing things for people my entire life. So I think deep down I'm really scared that people only like me for what I can do for them and what I can provide. But who am I without all of that? Am I still like a lovable person? I don't know. Anyways, thanks. I think we already answered this question. I didn't like group up these questions that well. What languages can you speak? That would be the 3 languages that I mentioned before. Which parent do you have a better bond with, and why? I would say before all of the drama went down with my parents, I was a lot closer to my father. He was really strict, but he was a little bit more easier going than my mother. I've always had like a bad relationship with my mom, and I don't know why. I think it's just, me being a kid and being the eldest daughter and acting out against my mom, and my dad has always like given me less of a hard time than my mom did. I don't really talk to my parents But from time to time, I'll like text my dad, like, oh, hey, happy birthday. Or like, hey, I think my DMV registration sticker got sent to the house. Can you like mail it to me? So it's really like small, very transactional things that I'll text him about. But I don't think I've talked to my mother in like 7 years. So yeah, my dad. Do you have a secret childhood crush? And if so, would you ever let them know about it now? I did have a childhood crush when I was little, and I liked him all the way up until middle school. I think that in the end, it wasn't really like, I think I made it like super obvious that I liked him. And I think it was clear that he never really liked me back. And honestly, it was a little bit embarrassing when one year in middle school, I had like gone across the street to like the convenience store that was across from my middle school, and I got him like a flower with some chocolates for Valentine's Day. And when I had gifted it to him, I can't remember now if he like received them or not, but he had done something that was like meant to super embarrass me. I can't remember what it is anymore. It's been years now, but I think the feeling of embarrassment has never gone away. The memory of that has now left me. I think maybe it was just too embarrassing for me to continue to remember. So yeah, I don't think I would ever let him know about it, because I am pretty sure that he was aware of it the entire time that he was in the same school as me. And it was embarrassing. What is your favorite book? My favorite book is this like book that I read when I was in high school, maybe college, and it's called The Goose Girl by Shannon Hale, and it's, I think, like a retelling of a fairy tale. It's my comfort book. I go back to this book quite often when I'm feeling like sad, or I need something that I can read very quickly to like pick myself up. But it's basically about a princess who learned about the languages of birds, and you know, her mother was particularly adept at the languages of people. Like her mother was like very charismatic, and so her knowing how to speak to birds and stuff made her mother quite like angry, and like almost made her mother like super weirded out, right? And so her mother told her to like stop doing that. But her aunt had always kind of like fostered this love of like the bird language, and her aunt passed away. And I think in the story, she is like married off to a neighboring kingdom, and on the way to the neighboring kingdom, her lady in waiting actually overthrows her in like a coup almost, and the guards actually help her lady in waiting get away with it. And so when she comes to, she travels to the city and like disguises herself. She disguises her hair, and she finds a job at the palace as a goose girl. And she tries to find a way to notify like the king, or, you know, her actual betrothed, that the girl who's presenting herself as the princess is not who she says she is. So I don't know, something about that is just, for me, it was such like a comforting book, and you know, good wins in the end. And I think it's just a really easy, comfy book about fairy tales and princesses and love, and it's what I like to read when I'm not having a good day. What is the thing that brings you the most joy? Also, thank you for all you do for us, Raska. Congrats on an incredible 1 year. Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for, being the person on the other side listening to me. What is the thing that brings me the most joy? It would definitely be my dog Hermes, anytime I look at his stupid little face, just fills my heart. Another thing that brings me joy is the game Jump King. If you guys know it, it is a hard game. Some people say that the game is really hard, but honestly, I've played it so often for so long that the jumping is like really easy for me. It's become second nature. But yeah, I really enjoy playing that game after like a long day and all I want to do is relax. I'll put up Jump King on my computer. What's your favorite musical instrument? My favorite musical instrument is the cello. I really like how rich and full the sound of the cello is, and I just think it's such a pretty instrument. I love the violin too, don't get me wrong. I play violin because I love violin and I love the sound of violin, but the violin goes so high in some pieces, and sometimes all I want is like the sound of something like deep and rich. If not the cello, then probably the piano. Why is your channel name Princess Raska? I'm so sorry. I should have grouped these questions up a little bit better, but yeah, because of my friend group and Final Fantasy XIV. Ooh. Did anyone ever break your heart? Yes. I have had 2 serious relationships, and I initiated one of the breakups, and in the other one, I was the one who was broken up. I think in terms of heartbreak, I think my heart broke because I knew that the relationship before was good. But that ultimately that relationship, both relationships had kind of run their course. And by the time that, I broke up with my partner at the time, or I got broken up with the other partner, I knew that those relationships were kind of coming to an end. And so while my heart did break, it broke because I think I had imagined a future together with each of these men, and I had to reconcile the fact that that future was no longer going to happen. In the end, I think that we were compatible. Both my ex-partners, I just wasn't compatible with them, and I do hope that they find good partners in the future. I don't wish ill on any of my past partners. I do think that I dated really, really good men in the past who took care of me and who showed me more love than I might have deserved. So yeah, maybe not like the most exciting answer. All right, that concludes the personal section, and wow, we got like super personal. I hope that, you guys were able to learn a little bit more about me, maybe. Last, we're gonna go through this like random section here. I have 2 questions that are related to cats and dogs. So the first goes, why are cats better than dogs? Cats or dogs, and why is it cats? It's definitely dogs. Dogs are way better because of all the reason I listed for my favorite animal. I just absolutely adore dogs. This is a math question. It says, find the slopes and intercepts of y equals 5x plus 3. I'm pretty sure the intercept is 3. and the slope is 5. I don't know. If you know math and you have a big brain, why don't you let me know in the comment section if I got that right? I'm not a big math brain person, so. The next question is, are there more eyes or legs in the world? And this one is hard because I can definitely see that there are like a lot of eyes in the world. Like what are you counting as eyes? Do like sewing needle eyes also count as eyes? But then you think about it and it's like, what about legs? Like there are chairs with legs. There are insects with like 100 legs. And, I think there might be more legs in the world. I think legs. That's my final answer. Legs. This must have come from someone on the Twitch side. This one says, what's a random title off your Goodreads account? Okay. All right, just for you, Anonymous, I'm going to open up my Goodreads account and we're going to cycle through my Goodreads titles and I'll read you one of my Goodreads titles here. Okay, so I've made it to the end and I've loaded all my Goodreads titles now. I'm going to randomly scroll through this list and I don't know, at the count of 4, I guess, is when I'll stop my finger. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. This book is called 'Tis the Season for Revenge by Morgan Elizabeth. I gave this book a rating of 4 stars. Yeah, I don't remember reading this book. I'm like reading through the book description and honestly, I do not remember reading this book. It must have been one of the books I read like when I was on an airplane traveling for work or something. I honestly don't remember this. But maybe something to reread because it's definitely like got a Christmas theme going on. Can you write an acrostic poem using Rosca? Okay, I did prepare this one in advance and I do have a note somewhere for this. Okay. I was at work and when I saw this question come in, I was like, oh, let me just put something together real fast. So I think this took me 10 minutes. And then I never came back to workshop it. So I'm just going to read it out and hopefully it makes sense. Reaching across a wide expanse, offering words and sounds of comfort, autonomous sensory meridian response. There you go. An acrostic poem using Rosca. I hope you enjoyed. Okay, last question of the entire AMA. Do you prefer tea or coffee? I actually like both, and I know this is a cop-out answer, but I like drinking coffee in the morning because that's what, will wake me up. And I prefer drinking tea at night. So when I'm recording and I need something to drink to help me soothe my throat, it's usually tea with some lemon and honey. So the answer is both, and I'm sorry that it's not a more concrete answer. That is everything for my 1-year AMA. I don't know how long this video is going to end up being. I'm looking the time tick on my recording project and I'm like, whoa, that's a really long time that I've been sitting here and yapping, but I'm sure once I edit this it'll get cut down. I had to pause a lot and restart because either my neighbors were being loud or there was a car in the parking lot. So hopefully there isn't too many distracting noises. I don't know who's gonna sit here for the entire time that this video is running, but I don't know. If you've listened to the entire audio, can you put banana pudding in the comments so that I know you did. This is like the secret message, right? Like if you listen all the way to the end, just let me know that you did by typing banana pudding in. All right. That's everything. I'm signing off this 1 year anniversary video. I can't wait for the next audio. I can't wait for, the new year. And I'm looking forward to many more years creating content and putting out videos in this niche. So I hope you guys all have a lovely morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are at. Lots of love. Bye.